Hi guys, it's Chris here from the Ultimate Recycler. Let's go for a walk around my yard at the back of the shop. Now, I can hear you saying, oh my god, look at all that mess already. But I'm doing this for a reason. Yes, it's a tad embarrassing, and I have, to my defence, I have a bit of an excuse. I've had a hip replacement this year and I haven't been able to get out here and do much. I run a second-hand business, so I'm forever cleaning out people's sheds. And I grew up on a farm where you never threw anything out because it's going to be handy one day. But the reason for me walking around the yard to show you what it looks like is that it's going to be part one of an introduction to kind of the ultimate recycling at my place. Now that the weather's starting to pick up, it's almost spring, the days are getting nicer, they're getting longer. My hip's feeling good, I can walk much better. I can still hear you saying, oh my god, look at all that junk. But what I need to do now, the time's right for me to get organised out the back here, particularly because I'm now doing this YouTube channel on recycling. I'm also now taking e-waste, so I'm collecting people's old electronics items for processing. I'm continuing to clean out sheds as part of my business, and I don't like anything going to landfill. Now, alright, my yard looks like a bit of a tip, but in essence there's really not much rubbish here, and I'm going to clean this up over a series of videos that you can follow, and along the way you will learn lots of things that I touch on anyway. There'll be sections on composting and worm farms. I'll show you how to deal with all sorts of stuff. I do scrap metal as well. As I mentioned, I do e-waste. But there's also going to be things like upcycling, what you can use stuff for. So as you can see, there's lots of stuff here. That's a bit of a workshop I've got there. It's not very flash. It's really just a garden shed. Gives me a bit of a bench there to do stuff. So I'll be filming in lots of parts. And this is where I've actually started. This was a big pile of stuff as well, and I thought I'll start in the middle. Now I'm going to work my way right around the yard, process everything, set it all up properly, and hopefully you'll find it of interest. Now, you know, some people say, well, that's exciting, watching someone clean up their yard. But, you know, people watch Test cricket, don't they? So go figure. Alright, now there's a fair bit of value in my yard as far as scrap goes. There's a copper hot water cylinder there. I've got piles of aluminium and stainless steel and drums of brass, and I get a lot of kitchen appliances and pots and pans as I'm cleaning out houses. So I'm going to work through this whole yard, get it organised, and there'll be a few little interesting things on the way. I'll break it down into segments. This is interesting well, not so interesting. This is an area of ground that I've just started to level out. And ever since I've been here 16 years, there's been this vine that overgrows. You can see it down the back there. It overtakes everything. And I found out that it's called a Madeira vine or a lamb's tail vine. And it has these potato-like tubers underground. And it also has tubers that grow on the stems, on the branches, and they drop down, and it's actually a highly invasive weed and needs to be disposed of properly. So I'm going to try that. You can't put it in the green waste bin because it then spreads to other people's yards via the mulch. So I'm separating it, and I'm going to try hot compost and maybe worms to see if they can dispose of it. So we're going to touch on all sorts of things in this series. Also, whilst I was levelling off this area, I actually found an old bottle. Now, those of you that follow my channel know I collect bottles, and I've done a series on them. That's actually a nice early, probably 1910 Chemist, so that's really interesting. Lovely bit of old china here as well. So we might even do a few parts on doing some test holes and see if we can dig some old bottles. But as you can see, there's old fridges, there's dryers, washing machines, dishwasher in there, a pile of old silver plate, which has a bit of value as scrap because most of the base metal is high percentage of copper. So there's all sorts of stuff. This little area beside my container, I built a little shade last year, and I'm going to set up a bit of a wood processing area because I get a lot of pellets. I do projects on pellets, and whatever's no good will end up as firewood. And I don't like using chemicals and sprays, so I'm going to try and get this yard organised so that I don't need to. So I can still hear you saying, oh my god, look at all that junk. But we'll persist, and this will be an ongoing series, and I'll pretty much just follow my gut with what I find. Nothing will go to the tip other than minor stuff that gets in the wheelie bin each week, but I won't be doing any loads to the tip, and this yard will be not only cleaned up and very functional later on, but it will be a highly efficient processing area. And you can see there's drums of cast aluminium here, and I will actually generate a lot of money in scrap metal and repurposing projects and upcycling. There's drums of steel along here which I did a video on quite a while ago. The old Toyota van is full of stuff. It's just become a shed on wheels now. It did a head gasket and it's not worth fixing. But as junky as it all looks, this is a back lane that I've got. As junky as this all looks, it will be sorted, organised, processed, and you'll be amazed what things I find out here that I can turn into stuff to sell. And as I said, there won't be any loads to landfill. So if this interests you, subscribe to my channel and follow this. I'll have a separate playlist on my yard cleanup, and I've started a little bit down the back here too. There's mattresses to get rid of, and I have done a video on deconstructing a mattress with nothing or virtually nothing going to the tip. I've also done a video on the old dryer bodies which I fill with pressing steel. Those two are both full and they're loaded. I've just done this today. I've cut down a pallet and I've set the pallet on some tin to stop weeds coming up underneath, and they'll be loaded there, stacked along this fence line down this lane, where I can, once I get this cleaned up a bit, I'll be able to back my trailer down, and I've got a little crane on my trailer to load them, and I can do loads of pressing steel down to Melbourne. So it's all really work in progress. I'm only going to get 1, maybe 2 days a week, but once daylight saving hits, we get a bit more time after I knock off from the shop, and I'll continue to work on it all, and hopefully you can watch a beautiful transformation. This is an old chaff cutter I bought through eBay, and I've got a project in mind for that one, which you'll probably see on a video at some stage. Also, someone made up this kind of a fan assembly. I'm not sure if it spins there at the moment. No, it's resting on the dirt. And I have a project in mind for that too. So anyway, that'll do the introductory. You can say whatever you like about my yard. I don't think I'm a hoarder. It's really just part of my business, and for one reason or another it's got a little bit out of control because I do lots of other things. My partner and I bought a house last year and we've been renovating that. We run 2 shops, and we also play competitive table tennis and teach rock and roll, and I'm trying to set up a workshop at home for clock repairs. So we have pretty busy lives, but I plan to stick at this, and one of the reasons of doing a video is that it's going to make me do updates regularly. So I'll also get into that container at some stage. It's a 20-foot shipping container, and I've got a lot of treasures in there that I've purchased over the years, so we'll get into that at some stage too. So alright, thanks for watching. Look out for my next video. It could be anything along the lines of old bottles, or recycling, or upcycling, or worm farms, or compost bins, or spending a day in the yard here, and I'll do a video, and who knows what we're going to find. Alright, see you in the next video.